While it's the end of the work week for most Americans, senators in Washington will be putting in overtime this weekend as Democrats look to pass President Biden's COVID-19 relief bill. A Republican delay forced the entire measure to be read out loud yesterday, taking nearly 11 hours in the Senate chamber. Lawmakers will meet this morning to take the next steps on the $1.9 trillion package. So Nancy Cordes is following the very latest from the White House. I'm sure you're glad that you are not covering Congress right now because that was a long day and night. Nancy, here's the thing. It appears that Democrats have the votes to pass the package. They just need a simple majority. So what is the end game for Republicans by prolonging and delaying this process?
I think they just really enjoy the spoken word, Anne-Marie, and they wanted to hear. No, I'm kidding. Actually, what they really want is an opportunity to highlight what they see as deficiencies in this bill. And some of them felt that having the entire bill read aloud would give them an opportunity to point those out. For example, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who is the one who was really the driving force behind this exercise, was tweeting things like, look at how many times the clerk is mentioning the words 2022 and 2023. This indicates that a lot of this money isn't even being spent in an emergency fashion. It's coming down the road. So those are the kind of things that Republicans are highlighting about this massive $1.9 trillion package, even though they know that they're unlikely to be successful in killing it at the end of the day. And that's what this so-called vote-a-rama is going to be about all weekend as well. They are going to put up amendments that make life a little uncomfortable for Democrats, things that might change the bill in such a way that it could push, let's say, some progressive Democrats not to be willing to support it. At least that's going to be the strategy. At the end of the day, Democrats right now appear to have the votes if they all stay together, and they have been remarkably united on this. And so if it does pass the House whenever this vote-a-rama finishes, and we don't quite know, but we assume it's going to be sometime this weekend, then it'll go back to the House for another vote, and it could be going to the president's desk by the end of next week.
So speaking of the president, he has scheduled a roundtable today on his economic relief package. What do we know about this meeting?
Well, we haven't gotten a list of names from the White House yet who he is going to be meeting with. I would imagine that's probably some small business owners and others who might benefit from this huge COVID relief package. He's also going to be meeting with his Treasury Secretary earlier in the day, who has been another big proponent of this package. Basically, what you're seeing is the final blitz by the White House to show major support for this package, to shore up any Democrats who might have any doubts, to really tout what they see as the massive benefits of not just the huge stimulus checks that would go out to most American families, but also $400 a week unemployment benefits through the fall, and more money for schools and vaccines and food security and all those things. So this is really the White House making sure that it does everything it can to show support and enthusiasm for this relief bill before it comes up for a final vote.
Meanwhile, governors are increasingly lifting mask mandates in their states. Other restrictions as well, but mask mandates would be of particular concern. The president made wearing a mask a key part of his plan to fight COVID-19 in his first 100 days. Do you know if he or the White House, members of the White House, has spoken directly to governors about the easing of these restrictions?
That's an interesting question, and one that actually the White House press secretary Jen Psaki herself was asked yesterday, and she said that the president had not spoken yet, for example, to Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who had announced that he was going to be eliminating his state's mask mandate, or the governor of Mississippi, who is doing something similar. It sounds like, the president is talking in a more casual fashion with governors. He wouldn't have a problem bringing it up, but there's no systematic effort underway to try to convince these governors to change their minds. Psaki argued that it's quite clear anyway how the president feels about this issue, especially after he said it was Neanderthal thinking to go ahead and ease some of these restrictions at a time when the number of coronavirus cases is still high. So the argument the White House seems to be making is that the president's willing to talk to anybody, but most of those governors already know exactly how he feels.
Nancy Cordes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.